Hey there, welcome back to High Infidelity, the best channel for cheating stories. Like and subscribe to channel for more spicy stories. Now, let's get into today's story video.
My wife, my first love, first partner, and best friend, unexpectedly has been cheating on me, absolutely heartbroken. My wife of 2 years, 28, has done a full 180 in the last 4 weeks. She transformed from someone who was loving, intent on establishing a family, and fully trustworthy to someone who has lied, misled me, and blames me for her adultery. It all began 3 weeks ago. I was on a high, thinking our relationship was going swimmingly. We were discussing acquiring another puppy and our honeymoon plans after COVID ruined the first ones. When Friday rolled around, I had a hunch something was wrong and even told my mother over the phone. I don't know what's going on, I just have a horrible feeling about my wife. That night, she texted me saying, "I just need some space tonight. I know you won't like it, but please accept my choice." She then turned off her phone and claimed to have slept in her vehicle in a deserted lot. When she returned home, I was empathetic but firm that this would never happen again, but she had entirely altered her outlook on life. No kids, career-focused, and wanting out of the relationship. "I worry that we will cheat on one another in the future," she added most emphatically. What? Who would say anything like that out of the blue? Many things have transpired since then, including her leaving the state for 2 weeks for space. I discovered last night that she had spent the night at her instructor's home after going to the movies. I also discovered a photograph of the two of them. The saddest thing is that I was the one who pushed her to pursue this job, and she would never have met the man if I hadn't introduced them. I have yet to face her, but I am slowly piecing together that is this whole issue. She's essentially blaming me for all of our problems, claiming that she doesn't like the way I speak to her, that I'm domineering, and that I call her names. I've done a lot of soul searching over the last several weeks to figure out what I may have done to cause this, but her charges are false. I pushed her to seek mental health care, which she saw as calling her names. I emphasized the necessity of communication when she turned off her phone, but she claims that is controlling, despite the fact that I did not prevent her from spending 3+ weeks away from home. Finally, she has these recordings of me that she has obtained without my knowledge and believes are evidence that I psychologically abuse her. I showed them to my counselor, who denied that there was any abuse in the tapes and was rather astonished with how calm and composed I was during the talk. Anyway, none of these are justifications for her infidelity or the way she has been treating me. I think I'm still in the inquiry stage, trying to let her make her own decisions while gathering data. It's difficult, however, as the person I previously adored has utterly ruined our whole existence together in only 3 weeks. I'm at a loss for words as to how I feel right now. I have a fantastic support system and loving parents, but I now know what heartache feels like, and I never want to feel this way again. Update 1. I had a very difficult weekend, and it was difficult to be alone and without family to help me recover, but I had some nice phone chats with friends and family who were all really furious at her self-attacks. I've lost about 10 pounds, I'm having trouble eating, and it's difficult to get out of bed in the mornings. However, I keep myself occupied by working out and spending a lot of time with my dog. The first time I genuinely sobbed was when she asked what we should do with our dog. He's been my one solace throughout it all, and I can't bear the thought of him being with her. One thing that really helped was seeing folks who were angrier than me when I informed them about the affair. Overall, I'm doing fine, and I recognize that it's all part of the grieving process. It helps to remember that I respect myself, that it's not my fault, and that I shouldn't compare myself to the other man. She is returning home with her parents this week to remove her belongings from the house. She already said she wants out of the marriage. I do too. I still haven't confronted her about the affair, and I'm racing my brain for the right words and the right location to tell them. Is it okay for me to do it in front of her parents? Do I do it only with her? Do I pour my heart, or do I just respond, "I know what you're doing"? It is ultimately up to me and my choice. But what has worked and what has not worked in the past for everyone here? Update 2. The change has occurred. I turned 180 on her after discovering the affair, and she has begun to flounder. Her parents arrived in town last Wednesday, and I was finally able to persuade her to speak with me. I opted not to divulge her affair with her parents in the room, but I caught her in a number of falsehoods throughout our conversation. My tone was calm and remorseful for what she had accused me of. The conversation was incredibly distressing since she was basically claiming that I haven't treated her well from the day we married and she has wanted out. She never mentioned this to me our entire relationship until now. She proceeded to accuse me of basically emotionally abusing her by distorting my comments from earlier conversations. And thankfully my mother was there, and my mother ended up calling her out on her falsehoods, since my mom was in some of those chats she was referring to. The two most important things that kept me going throughout the conversation were 1. Not anticipating any type of reconciliation or regret. 2. Having a game strategy for the confrontation. My objectives in the talk were twofold. When she makes these outrageous charges while defending my reputation, she reveals how juvenile and mentally unfit she is in public, in front of her parents. Make it clear to her father that she needs to see a therapist or counselor and work on her difficulties. My wife stormed out of the room with her mother, while my father remained behind with me and my mother. His feelings were real, and they revealed a lot about the situation. He sat there, and the first words out of his lips were a sorrowful, "I'm sorry, man," a father, too, seeking for answers. He said it bothers him right now since he considers me his son, and I always will. I love your daughter, and I just want her to be well. But at this point I just need to let her go, I told him, clearly moved. I informed him about the affair and what I knew, and he understood where I was coming from. I emphasized the need of her having repercussions for her conduct, since she had so far had none. I emphasized the need of her seeing a therapist even more, and he stated he agreed and that he had tried unsuccessfully to encourage her to attend. Because of my two aims stated above, even though this chat was not all roses, it served my purpose for getting there, and I felt much better knowing that I had a father-in-law who understood what is going on. The following day, I got home from work and my wife was taking some of her belongings out of the house. I wanted to be there to make sure she didn't take anything from me. I genuinely changed a component on her automobile, and we had a peaceful conversation about her future ambitions and so on. She informed me she was going to keep working. I can't believe they're still keeping her around after she's been gone for so long. She said that she intends to pursue her ratings and hopes to become a flying instructor. Wonder why, lol. When I inquired where she planned to reside, she said, an RV park, and my parents will give me their RV. I simply don't see why you're doing all of this. It doesn't make any sense, I informed her at this point. I'm simply so thrilled at her workplace, she remarked. I simply want to know whether you're having an improper connection with app, I said. He wouldn't look me in the eyes and say, of course not. I informed her I knew and had proof, and I highlighted a few instances, such as, what were you doing last Wednesday night? Who did you chat to for 90 minutes at 11 p.m. in June while you were at a baccalaureate party? I then showed her one call record, and she freely demonstrated to me that it was AP phone number on her phone by typing it out laughing. I didn't have checked my boss / I don't even enjoy, she does. He works unusual hours / I had a question about traveling, she continued diverting the charge. I remained firm and cool, telling her that it would be simpler if she revealed the truth. I was watching a 28-year-old lady behaving like a toddler who had just been caught in a lie. The real stinger came when she asked if I wanted to include her parents. I was perplexed as to why she would do so, but I agreed. Before I even show her any proof, her mother begins making excuses for her daughter, saying things like maybe it was a dare call or this was already after you were having troubles, wasn't it? No, it wasn't. Can you look at this objectively and tell me there was no improper relationship going on? I asked quietly of her mother. Her mother refused to respond, claiming that I was attempting to push her into saying anything much way I manipulated her daughter. When they ran out of excuses, the three of them stormed out of my home, and her mother shouted, I hope you don't treat the next lady like you treated my daughter, before actually saying, mic drop lol. What a messed up family dynamic. Her father said nothing the whole time, and I could see he's completely out of his mind coping with both of them. My wife eventually texted me, stating, AP is one of my very closest friends, I was truly suffering, and we were separated at the time. Actually, we weren't. Essentially, he's confessing to infidelity. She said that she wanted to discuss it with me and her lawyer who is there in the room. I informed her that I wouldn't advocate involving attorneys since she had committed many crimes by filming me without my permission. I haven't spoken with her since Thursday, but the dynamics of the issue have moved dramatically, and I couldn't have done it without the assistance of everyone on here. The last point I'd want to make, and it's probably very useful in terms of where to go next. I saw she went to church on Sunday morning. She hadn't gone with me in a while, but we used to attend all the time, and then drove around 500 miles to nowhere before returning to her Airbnb. She hasn't engaged in any questionable behavior, either out of caution now or realization of her transgressions. I suppose she didn't have, but it doesn't matter since I already have enough information and don't need any more. I've already filed for divorce, and she'll be served in a week or two. 2 questions on how to handle the no-contact situation. I want to keep things nice, so I haven't contacted her, but should I approach her to discuss our assets? I'd want to, and I believe she's capable of a respectful dialogue. It would save both of us money on legal fees and expenditures. If you've read any of my earlier postings, you'll see that I believe she has a mental illness, since she's been through a number of significant traumas in the past. How can I seek her assistance while simultaneously protecting myself if she eventually apologizes or changes her behavior? She presently receives healthcare via my employment. If she loses it, she would be without healthcare. Update 3. I haven't heard from my SDBXW since about Thursday, August 5th, basically 2 weeks. She has been served with divorce papers and has reacted via her lawyer since this time. However, she attempted to call me yesterday to inform me that she knew how I found out about the affair. I did not and have not done anything illegal to catch her, and it must be driving her insane that I have not made contact and she has no idea how much information I have. She then threatened me, claiming that if I didn't tell her, she'd contact the cops or my commander. I'm in the military. This is a hollow threat since I have nothing to conceal and I am well aware of it. However, I am scared that she will discuss this since I do not want this malevolent individual to have an impact on my career. I called my lawyer and will call him later today to discuss the next steps. She wrote another message this morning requesting for $1,000 in spousal support as well. I believe she is attempting to frighten me into giving her money, but I know she has a job and is presently being paid. I also know she is living at the home of the guy with whom she cheated on me. Anyway, I'm holding out. Gray rock where touch is required, no contact everywhere else. I believe she is a psychopath who has no remorse for what she done and is furious that she has been caught in several falsehoods. It might also be the grieving process's fury stage. All of this helps me forget about her quicker and realize I'm better off without her.